The first time I saw her, I didn't know whether to be terrified or amazed. She was unlike anything humanity had ever encountered, a living enigma walking under the twin suns of planet Arinder. Her skin shimmered with a pale lavender hue, almost transparent in certain light, revealing faint, pulsing veins that glowed softly like bioluminescent threads. Her eyes, large, violet, and impossibly expressive, seemed to peer into your mind, seeing not just who you were, but what you feared, what you desired. I was only 24 at the time, a xenobiologist assigned to Arinder's research colony, remote outpost on the fringes of human expansion into the Helion cluster. My work mostly consisted of cataloging flora and fauna, measuring atmospheric variables, and cautiously observing native life forms. I had never expected to meet a sentient being who wasn't human. She appeared at the edge of the colony one morning, gliding effortlessly over the crystalline plains as if the wind itself carried her. The colonists panicked. Shouts and alarms echoed through the settlement, but I felt something different. Curiosity. What are you?" I asked, stepping forward despite the other's fear. She stopped mid-glide and tilted her head, the motion unnervingly human. "I am Lyria," she said. Her voice was melodic, but carried a resonance that vibrated deep in my chest. "I have come to observe and to ask." Her words were simple, but I felt an unspoken weight behind them. Everyone else retreated, leaving me alone. Maybe it was foolish. Maybe it was bravery. Or maybe it was the strange, unshakable certainty that my life had just changed. The first contact. Over the next few weeks, Lyria integrated herself into the colony in a way that defied explanation. She did not eat, sleep, or require shelter in the conventional sense. She moved among the people, observing, asking questions about our history, our culture, our fears, and our dreams. I became her primary interlocutor, the one she chose to confide in. She asked about Earth, about humans, about why we traveled the stars. And I asked her the same in return. "I am from the Volithic Continuum," she told me one evening, the twin suns setting behind her, casting elongated shadows. "We explore. We learn. We leave behind only what is necessary. You will not see my people here." "And why here? Why Arinder?" I asked. Her eyes reflected the sunset. "Potential. You humans have a resilience I rarely witness. You strive, even in the face of destruction. That is why I am here." I felt a warmth in that statement, a validation I hadn't known I needed. And over time, the warmth became something else, a fascination that grew into connection, and connection that grew into attachment. But humans fear what they do not understand, and the colony's administrators were wary. Some wanted to detain her, study her, even weaponize her abilities. Others whispered that she could be a harbinger of destruction. I defended her. I couldn't not. Yet every night, as I lay in my quarters, I wondered how long it would last. Her presence was ethereal, almost impossible to hold on to. And perhaps, deep down, I feared the moment she would leave. The revelation. It came suddenly, as most revelations do. Lyria called me to the edge of the crystalline plains, where the horizon met the distant gas giants in a swirl of turquoise and gold. "I must leave soon," she said, her voice carrying the solemnity of inevitability. I froze. "Leave? But why?" She turned her eyes toward me, and in that moment, the entire universe seemed to shrink to the space between us. "I have observed all I can hear. The continuum moves swiftly. We linger only where there is promise. Your planet, your species. I see promise. But my time is limited." I wanted to argue, to plead, to demand that she stay. But I knew it would be useless. And yet, before she departed, She asked something that I will never forget. "Tell me," she said, her violet eyes piercing, "what do humans truly fear, and what do they truly hope for?" I blinked. The question seemed simple, but I realized it wasn't. Not at all. They fear the unknown, the loss of control, the loss of those they love, I said slowly. And they hope to leave something behind, to be remembered, to matter. Lyria nodded, absorbing every word as though it were a key to an eternal lock. Then she asked the question that would define my life. "Do you wish me to leave?" I stared at her, my heart caught between desperation and understanding. I don't want you to go," I admitted, "but I also know you must. I can't hold you here." Her lips curved into a faint smile. "That is wise," she said. "And yet, you would still wish for me to stay?" "Yes," I said, "even if it's impossible." She looked at me for a long time, her gaze unblinking, as if measuring the depth of my honesty. Then she turned toward the horizon, where a shimmering craft hovered, waiting for her. The departure. The day she left, the entire colony gathered in silence. Lyria's form hovered above the crystalline plains, her body refracting light like a prism. Children and adults alike whispered in awe, their fear replaced by reverence. She turned toward me one last time. "You have shown me humanity. Not your technology, not your history, but your spirit. That is what matters to the continuum." I swallowed, tears pricking my eyes. "Will I see you again?" I asked. Her smile was gentle, bittersweet. "Perhaps in another time, another form. But for now, this is goodbye." The craft hummed and then vanished, leaving only a lingering resonance in the air. The plains were quiet, almost painfully so. I felt empty, but also profoundly changed. I realized then that she had left something behind, not a physical artifact, but a spark, a reminder of what humanity could be. We were resilient, curious, and capable of connection even across the stars. The aftermath. Life returned to its routine, but nothing felt the same. I walked the crystalline plains often, remembering her words, her presence. The colony thrived, inspired by the encounter. We worked harder, explored further, dreamed bigger. And I often found myself wondering what she saw in the distant corners of the galaxy, whether she remembered me as I remembered her. Months later, I discovered something remarkable. In one of the native bioluminescent plants she had touched, a faint pattern had formed, a series of pulses that resembled a heartbeat. Not her heartbeat, exactly, but something alive, something sentient. It was her gift to us, a reminder that even after she left, she had left a piece of herself behind. It was a quiet, subtle miracle, and I spent nights decoding it. It spoke not in words, but in rhythm, in light, in presence. And in that language, I understood something profound. Even when someone leaves, their influence endures. Even across vast, unbridgeable distances, connection persists. Humanity had been seen, and in being seen, we were changed forever. The final question. Years passed. I became a leader in human exploration, inspired by the memory of Lyria. I met other alien species, ventured into unknown systems, and faced dangers I had never imagined. Yet in all my journeys, I never forgot her question, the one that had stayed with me through every hardship. What do humans truly fear, and what do they truly hope for? And now, standing on the bridge of a human starship orbiting a world on the edge of the Helion cluster, I finally understood the full answer. Humans fear loss, but they hope for connection. They fear the end, but they hope for meaning. And sometimes, just sometimes, hope arrives from the most unexpected places, from the most unlikely beings, to remind us who we are and who we can become. As the twin suns of the new world dipped below the horizon, I felt a familiar resonance in the air. Not a presence, not yet, but a promise. Perhaps she was watching, or perhaps it was the echo of her gift. Either way, I knew this. She had left, but she had also stayed. She had left a spark in the galaxy, and in me. And for the first time, I whispered to the stars, hoping she might hear. Thank you, Lyria, for everything.